We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at Justice League vs. Godzilla vs. Kong, issue 7. This is the final issue of the miniseries from DC Comics and Legendary Comics, written by Brian Buccellato, with art by Christian Duce and Tom Derenick, colors by Luis Guerrero. Richard Starkings and Comicraft's Tyler Smith did the letters. Ben Abernathy and Michael McAllister did the DC Comics editing, and Legendary Comics editor was Robert Napton. I have the main cover by Drew Johnson and Romulo Fajardo Jr. When you first glance at it, it's an okay cover, but Lex Luthor looks kind of weird, and the photoshopping isn't quite right because his foot isn't standing properly on the P in Daily Planet. It just looks like some kid put that there with a color form set. And Superman's arm looks like it was twisted around, but the Mechagodzilla looks okay, I guess. So I'm not a fan of the cover. The longer you look at it, the more it just doesn't work, especially with Lex Luthor. It just looks like he was pasted in there unnecessarily. So we find out what happened with Superman, and it's a bit of a MacGuffin. I get where they're going with it, but it just seemed a little convenient. Then we've got a big knockdown drag out. One of the Green Lanterns does not make it, and his ring goes to a very unexpected character in the book. Thankfully, with Superman back in action and Godzilla finally showing up, things start to move along pretty well. So there's quite a bit of action in this book, and it does get wrapped up pretty well. It seemed a little bit rushed, but overall it's not a bad issue. The story overall is pretty good. I think the first issue is the weakest, and this issue is probably the second weakest. There was a lot of build-up, and it just felt like the pacing was a little off in this one, but overall I enjoyed the story. I would say if you're gonna read this, don't pay anywhere near the $5 cover price for these issues. Try and get them for $2 to $3, or get the trade paperback for about 40% off. Then I would say it's a good addition, but I wouldn't pay anywhere near full price. It just was a little bit of a letdown in the beginning and in the end. That first issue was completely worthless as far as I was concerned, with like 1 or 2 pages that were really any good. And this issue just seems like it was a bit rushed, like they really didn't know how to wrap up what they were doing, and they didn't really go into long-term ramifications or anything like that. They didn't really analyze how this would actually all play out. But it was interesting that there were stakes involved in the miniseries and that things did happen that would affect the long-term well-being of the DC universe. Still, it just seemed a bit rushed at the end. I would add this to my trade paperback collection, but I probably won't keep the single issues. It was worth reading once. Probably not something I would revisit very often, but if you could find it cheap enough, then I would say pick up the trade and read it that way. That's probably going to be the better way to do it, but get it at a deep discount. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you didn't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description to various support methods. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.